We are back. Oops, I forgot to do the volume thing here. Let's get that taken care of so we don't have that problem. Oop, that's okay. So we're good there, and I'm good there. And let's see if anybody can see me besides me. Can you see me, hear me, smell me? North says 5x5, Texas Babs. Okay, we got a couple there. Lucky Dame, good deal. Jacob, you're slipping, brother. You haven't won in a while. All right. Good evening, everybody. So happy Tuesday from hopefully it's thawing out a little bit by you guys. Snow melted here today, so that was good. Got my truck running again, so that was a good thing. So interesting day, huh? I hope you guys liked the little laugh I put up for you there a couple hours ago. I just thought that was humorous. Mrs. P found that video on VK, which is the Eastern European equivalent to Facebook. And so she sent it over to me. And so then I thought I had to add some dramatic music to it and a little commentary. But I thought we could all use a quick laugh because it was a funny video. So that was that. Because yeah, after watching the blistering the economy took today, Dow down 540 some odd points, the Treasury up, 10-year Treasury up at 187. It's starting to get scarier and scarier. Oil's above 86. We'll probably break through 90 tomorrow. Next stop, 110. So get used to higher prices at the pump. And then, of course, we get our little red lying hood today. I loved her press conference saying something along the lines of, war is imminent or whatever the hell it would be. I don't know where the hell they get this, because the only people that seem to want Russia and Ukraine to go to war is the United States. Okay. And the only thing I can think of is the Biden administration is trying to, again, look over here. Don't look at my poll numbers at 33% and dropping like a rock. Don't look at the fact that two more Democrats have decided they're going to retire rather than run for re-election. That's the only thing I can think of, because the only activity that's going on around Russia and Ukraine is by NATO, who has nothing to do with either one of it. Belarus is after something. That Belarus is doing a freaking training exercise, again, on their own sovereign territory. That was a already scheduled training exercise that everybody knew about. So, this is just still all bluster. Could something change? Sure. But right now, it's just Biden and his minions trying to create something that isn't there. Again, the typical, don't look what I'm doing. Tell them, accuse everybody else of doing what you're doing. So, yeah. Interesting. So, on the good side of news, I'm 45 days away from putting the first plants in my garden. My onions will finally go in 45 days, and then 60 days from now we get a little bit more. So that'll be nice to finally get out there. Don't know about anybody else, but I'm just chomping at the bit here to get something going and growing. Just to give me that sense of accomplishment. I hate this time of year. I think I said it before. At least Christmas, you got something to look forward to. January, February, March are like the worst time forever for me. Okay. I gave up on football with kneeling. Okay. I could care less about college basketball. So there's literally nothing to, and I can't get outside and do stuff I want to do. So I'm just kind of like twiddling my thumbs. It's like, drive me nuts. So, all right. Well, I'm in a little spicy mood tonight, so we'll see what happens with what you guys want to talk about, but it'll be fun. Want to say welcome to everybody, and the quick disclaimer, greetings to my mods, to Jacob, Robert, Lorna, Lucky Dame, and North Shore. Thank you again for being here every time. I don't think you guys ever miss a day. For all those of you that are regulars here, you know the rules. For those of you that are new, we keep this as PG-13 around here, okay? Like I've said many times, your teenagers have probably heard the language that's used. Your 6-year-old probably shouldn't be here, okay? But that being said, please use some decorum. We don't put up with any name calling, any bitching and moaning between everybody in the chats. You want to be rude, go somewhere else. This is not the place to do it. We are a family here. We treat each other like family and not like crazy Uncle Joe. Okay. Other things, guys, please leave out the comments about the vaccine. Please, let's not talk about anything about climate change, and certainly let's not talk anything about November 2020. All right. Those are tickets to jail for me, and I don't want them. The artificial intelligence, the AI there, even though it's figured out code words. So let's just leave those topics off the table. There's plenty of other things that we can talk about. So that being said, as per normal, guys, nothing's off the table. Whatever you want to ask, feel free to. If I have the answer, I will tell you. If I don't, I will tell you. I don't have all the answers, obviously. I can't even figure out how to keep my car running in the cold, right? Or remember to get Benadryl. But no, all things serious. Learning things are always good. So mistakes are how you learn. But please, when you're asking a question, put them in all caps for me. That's pretty much standard across YouTube. But like I say all the time, feel free to have conversations amongst yourselves, because there's a lot of knowledge in this community to share amongst all of us. That's what we're here for. And I can't tell you how many great tips I've got from people in the community on how to do things, how many times I go to them, they go to me. What do you do? Everything. So, please be part of the community, make yourself heard. And, if you got questions, which we all do, there's no such thing as a stupid question. Go ahead and ask. All right. So that being said, as per normal, I'll start at the top. I will scroll down and go through questions as best I can. I don't ignore anybody unless, of course, it is one of the aforementioned topics. But we will get into this here. And again, I get behind. So please be patient with me trying to get to your questions. I'm not skipping over anybody on purpose. So, all right, going up to the top after we have through all the 5x5s as I got on there. Let's see where we go. Okay, I'm trying. A couple of people saying where they live. Okay, Conjure Mama, Sticker Shock, quart ball jars, $16.99 at my local store today. Yeah, that's about 30% more than normal. However, I hope you still got them, because there's a glass shortage, which is probably why you have the prices gone up. There is a aluminum shortage, and about China having the port shut and everything like that. So, again, this goes back to what I said yesterday. Guys, get what you can, what you need now. I mean, I'm not talking about food. Food's pretty obvious, okay? But I'm talking about the stuff that is the metals, the plastics, the petroleum products, that sort of stuff. Because with the port shutting down in China, and then, of course, we all know about the Canadian border and that fiasco with truckers, and then, only to make it worse, that the American side is going to put the same restrictions in come this weekend. You're going to start seeing empty shelves real quick. So, please don't run into a situation where you wait till the last minute and you can't find canning jars, you can't find seeds, you can't find Vaseline, whatever it is. Okay. Get it while you can get it. It ain't going to get cheaper, and it is going to get scarcer. Kim, wag the dog, low approval ratings. That's exactly what I think it is. I've said that for the better part of a month and a half when everything's been going on here. This is just, let's see if we can yammer our way into starting something over there. And, everybody talks about the false flags. And my bet is, if there's a false flag, it's going to be caused by the United States against either Russia or Ukraine. and blamed on the other side. I mean, we know, come on, the Democrats have made a career out of Russia, blaming Russia. So, it's not like doing it again is going to be anything new for them. So, yeah, that's exactly what I see. Montana Grizz fan says they want the Russians and Ukrainians to go to war so Biden can be reelected as a war president. The funny part about saying that is, and I know it seems like it's been forever, Biden's only been president for a year, guys. He's got 3 years to go till he's even up for reelection, if he even survives that long. Okay. I mean, not only politically, but as a person. I know what everybody says is we've never changed presidents in the middle of a war. Okay. You're not, that would, my personal opinion, Joe doesn't have a rat's ass chance in hell in winning. When the Democrats are already talking about, I mean, when you're a lame duck, your first year into the White House, you got problems. When the party is already trying to figure out who they're going to run 3 years from now, Joe's not going to make it through the 4 years before they finally get rid of him. And like I said, my bet is when they get their ass handed to them after November this year, they're going to want to remove him. Okay. And it's not like the Republicans are going to put up a bitch, but where you're going to see the change is, okay, we want to remove both him and the cackling hen, because I mean, the only reason Joe is not as bad as could be is who's next in line is not qualified to sell ice cream to your kids. Okay. I mean, I can't, Joe's incompetent. Okay. Kamala Harris is an empty balloon. There's no, I can't, incompetent would be a compliment for her. So that's the problem. Okie Forge, I love your pet name for Little Red Lying Hood. Yes. I mean, all the other ones, Peppermint Commie, you see all over the place. It's just whatever, but I like Little Red Lying Hood. Let's see. Scrolling down. JB Prep says, Pinball, the older you get, the more you appreciate January, February, March. I can't. I've hated it forever just because there's nothing going on. It's the most boring time of year. I hate being stuck in a house where I can't do anything. I mean, there's stuff I can do, but it's not fun stuff. I like to be building things or working in the garden or, out getting, sweating in the yard doing something, being inside and going, gee, I get to do something fun today. Let's go clean behind the toilets. That's not exactly what my idea of fun is. Lorna, what was the brand of battery charger you showed this morning to charge your truck? Okay, a couple other people asked me. The one I showed, give me a second. I'll be right back. Give me a second. Okay, I hate doing that, but it's easier to show you guys and tell you. The one I showed you this morning, I've had for a few years. The brand was Paick or something, P-A-I-C-K. And either they're out of business or bought out or something like that because I can't find that anymore. But Mrs. P and I just bought a backup, okay? Came today. So it's called Avapow. It's $100. It's on Amazon. Oops, probably can't hear. My microphone fell off. Come on. Let's try that again. Okay, microphone fell off. It's called Avapow. Okay, so it's same concept, same thing. We just bought that one. It just came today. So we wanted to have a backup for it for exactly the reason why. So we had a second one. But yeah, it's about $100 for the whole thing. Charge your phone, but the main point is for jump starting your car. But so there's the best one that I can find that's out there right now. Like I said, it's $100. Deborah, just by yourself. I'm watching Trucker Mageddon. What do you think? Oh, the Freedom Convoy. Okay, oh no, wait a minute, that's something different. I know there's something that's going from Vancouver to Calgary, if that's what it is. But somebody sent me something on that today. I took a look at what it is, but it's going to be interesting. I mean, if these guys go on strike, whatever. But somehow, some way, somebody's going to finally put it through the minds of Trudeau and the minds of Biden that they aren't kings. They can't just wave a magic wand and everybody goes, oh yes. People have had enough. And if they're not careful, it's gonna get rough for them. Let's put it that way. Deborah Miller, any news on China's lockdowns, please? Okay, so latest is the ports are still locked down. Tianjin, which is the next province, I guess, if you will, over from Beijing. Nobody's allowed from there into Beijing. The lockdowns are still going on in Xi'an. It was kind of ironic yesterday, which was kind of funny. All of a sudden, the conversations about hemorrhagic fever started making the news. I'm like, gee, and Lorna kind of caught this one too. It's like, I was only talking about that a week and a half ago. Yeah, so yeah, nothing's getting better with China. Rebecca Ends, have I ever done winter sewing? Okay, yes, but again, that was when I was in Vegas. So, I mean, it all depends on where you are. Remember, this is only going to be my third season here in Tennessee. I mean, my garden that I had in Vegas obviously was planted at a totally different time. I mean, by this time, I had all my stuff in the ground in Vegas. When I was up in Salt Lake City, wasn't anywhere close. When I was in Massachusetts, I wasn't anywhere close. So I'm still getting used to my still trying to work out, as much as you can take the websites and Old Farmer's Almanac and stuff like that, guidelines for when to plant. Nothing is better than keeping your own notes and going this time, because I'm already finding what Farmer's Almanac or something like that says, and my planting time is actually about 2 weeks different. So, Grafted Branch Homestead, best pair of boots to buy. Well, it ain't Carhartt anymore. If you guys saw what was going on with them, Carhartt decided, the hell with the mandate being overruled by the Supreme Court, we're still going to keep it there. And of course, their customer base and their employee base said, right here. Yeah, best pair of boots to buy is going to be what's most comfortable for you and what fits. The one thing I will definitely say, buy high quality. Walmart boots are not going to be the boots that you want for SHTF. Okay. You want to buy yourself a good set of hiking/work boots. I would definitely say something with a steel toe or a carbon toe or something like that to them. Go spend a couple of $100s on a good pair of boots. You will thank yourself for it. The other thing, get yourself some insoles for them. Okay, not for the stink of your feet, but for the cushion. You go stand around or walk around in boots all day long, and your feet will hurt at the end of the day if you don't put something in them. But best pair of boots is going to be different for everybody. I just say, buy quality. Lamont Sanford. Oh, yeah. Hi. How's Dad? Do I grow microgreens? No. Not that I have anything against it or anything like that. No, I don't. Andrew King. Do I use beard oil? Very rarely. Occasionally, Mrs. P got me some. I think it's Macho Man was actually the name of the brand or whatever. It's good stuff. I just don't use it. Kiss my grits. The dog food you made looked yummy. Happy pups. It was funny when Mrs. P was feeding them this morning. She's like, that smells good. I could almost eat that myself. I'm like, well, everything in there you do eat. I just wouldn't want it mixed together. Pumpkin and spinach is not exactly the combination that I want to eat. But hey, but yeah, I mean, it's just healthy for. I mean, is it going to be more expensive than Old Roy dog food? Yeah, but Old Roy dog food is all corn filler, and I mean, all your dog is doing is pooping all that out anyway. There's hardly any nutritional value to it. So, it's going to, by the time the cost is there, even if you're growing your stuff, it's going to be, your mid-range price of dog food. But, it's going to be a lot healthier for them. So that's the thing. And it's important to know because if there ain't no dog food on the shelves and nobody can tell me, gee, that's not going to happen because good luck trying to get cat food for the last year. Okay. At least there's a different way you have on your property that you can feed your dog. Okay, here we go. Shot to the bottom, back to the top we go. The Godsmack 12, thank you for the super chats. And I hope it's a little frostproof Florida. I hope it is because you guys can get some cold weather down there too. It's funny when Georgia got more snow than we did. All right, let's see where else we are. Chico Man 67. Are I a pinball? I guess, am I a pinball enthusiast? Just curious with your username being Pinball Preparedness. I like to play pinball. I probably haven't played pinball in at least 20 years, but the reason for Pinball Preparedness being the name is that was my call sign when I was in the Army, given to me by a staff sergeant when we were on radio. And so he decided to start calling me Pinball, and that's kind of where I took it from. Bama J, ordered some seeds today that grow well in the zone above me, just in case I need a longer growing season. Yeah, that works. I mean, the thing is that's not that big of a deal. Okay. Tomatoes will grow in Minnesota. It's not a big deal. Just you have to plant them later. That's all it is. So, I mean, but again, you talk about onions. Well, now you could be having a problem. Is it long day, intermediate day, short day onions, depending on where you are, you got to grow the right ones. So, but yeah, if you've got, and I'm assuming you live in Alabama, so you have a little bit better opportunity than others. But yeah, if you get stuff that's cold hardy, even up here and say, because I'm on the borderline between 6B and 7, and Alabama, you're probably 9, 10, maybe if you're way south, zone 11. Yeah, if you got some stuff that was up here, okay. If you have a very cold spring or a very cold fall, yeah, you can grow something else. So, yeah, not a bad idea. Let's put it that way. Treasure Seekers, you remove both leaves. Pelosi, well, you're right. Removing both leaves. Pelosi is president right now. But like I said, they'll remove him after the 2022 elections, which is when the Republicans will probably take charge, which unfortunately probably means Kevin McCarthy winds up speaker, which I don't want Kevin McCarthy as speaker. But yeah, so that would put McCarthy in the White House, which that's the thing I think about is strategists have to figure out and go, okay, if they're going to do that, who's the speaker? And so I hope they decide who the speaker is that they want to move into the White House before they try to get a lot of moving parts. But yeah, but no, that's why it wouldn't be Pelosi, because I don't see it happening until at the earliest after the elections. Montana Grizz fan, get maple syrup too. Other things people should look into are nails, screws, bolts, fasteners, ties, extra shoestrings, rubber glue for fixing shoes. Absolutely. Okay. We all know the prepper saying you can never have enough cordage. Okay. Go to the store, pick up a thing of 550 cord whenever you're out. Pick up a piece of rope, pick up a piece of chain, whatever you can be, especially when you see it laying around somewhere. That's what always kills me. You just see, a 10-foot piece of twine or something like that sitting out on the side of the road or whatever as you're walking the dog. Pick it up. You're going to use it for something. Zip ties, duct tape, preferably something like Gorilla Tape or T-Rex tape or something like that, something that's going to be real strong. You want to get things like that. Nails, screws, bolts. I've got a boatload of them. You get these, they look like fishing tackle trays full of them. Just get them. You're always going to need screws, bolts, everything. I think everybody here can agree with me. Probably a lot of you still do it. Your grandfather, your father, whatever it was, had baby food jars, pickle jars, whatever it would be, out on shelves in the garage full of screws and bolts and nuts, right? Why don't we do that? Brandy, thank you for the super chat. My opinion on these free COVID tests? Sure. Want to get on a list? Go for it. Because once you ask for them, then they're going to go, like you said, asking for all the information. Why do you need my email address? Okay, you don't. They're going to go, oh, we sent you a test. What was your result? None of your business. Oh, sure it is. We gave it to you free. You need to tell us this. Okay, no. Sorry. I'll tell you when I'll get tested. When I feel like shit and I need to go to the doctor and the doctor says, why are you here? And I go, I can't smell, I can't taste, and I've got a fever. Now you can test me. Other than that, I'm not sticking a swab up my nose just because it's free. Sorry. Big P prepping, best place to get potatoes to plant. Your garden last year. No, seriously. You can plant the ones from the grocery store. All right. If you go in and look, don't buy the ones in the back. Okay. But if you go in and look at the separate potatoes, if you pick through them, look, whatever. I mean, if you can find them in an organic store, great. But look for potatoes that have eyes on them. That's what you need. If it doesn't have eyes, you don't want that potato. That's feasibly a sterile potato. Go to an organic store or whatever it would be. Yes, you can buy them online. You will pay through the freaking nose for them. Okay. It's like I said to Mrs. P, about garlic. Same thing. You can buy garlic online. You go buy garlic online and it'll be $6 for a head of garlic. Okay. Go plant it. You grow your garlic. I go to the grocery store. I get a head of garlic for 69 cents. Break it apart into all the cloves, plant it. I planted 72 cloves from ones that I bought at the grocery store. 71 of them came up. And the other ones that I've got, they're actually sprouting in the little sleeves I have here, so I could drop another one in if I want. But yeah, don't make it more difficult than you have to. Sure, if you want to buy, funky potatoes, you want to get the purple potatoes or something like that, you're going to have to buy them online, okay, or something. But I mean, if you're fine with your regular russet potatoes or, red potatoes or whatever it would be, grocery store potatoes are just fine. Linda Friesen, anyone who destroys their own supply chain prior to war definitely has an empty cranium. Gee, who are we talking about here? Inflate to 40 PSI. Remember, that's the tattoo Joe has over his ear. Focal grows, best crop for bartering. Let's see, grow marijuana? No, I don't know. That would probably be a good one, but I wouldn't necessarily want to be doing it. Best crop for bartering. See, I have a hard time with the question because the one thing that I won't trade away is food. Kaomi, thank you for the super chat. Trading away food. I mean, you want food from me, you're going to pay through the nose for food. Okay. Okay. You want dinner? I want a generator. Okay. Literally, because any food I give you is food I'm taking out of my own belly down the road. That's the thing. JB says tobacco. Tobacco might be a good one. Yeah, I mean, fruits maybe. I mean, what I'd think of more is something that you could make to trade. Okay, y'all know I make the Applejack, I make the wine and stuff like that. Okay, that's feasibly going to be out of. I've got apple trees, I've got muscadines, I've got grapes growing, everything like that. Now, that'll be my plan. That will be my barter. That's going to be something somebody wants. It's something that's not going to cost me much. Okay, but it's not something I need to have. You don't want to trade away your needs. You want to trade luxuries for needs. People that are trading for luxuries eventually run out of their needs and they go bye-bye. Okay. It's like I've said many times, you're never trading ammunition for something. Okay. Why would I give somebody something that they could use to hurt me? No, that's about it. Indiana mom, I know you can't give financial advice. I'm worried about money in my savings. I'm 100% debt free and my house is paid. Wondering what to do with savings to keep it in safe dollar does go south. Okay. Tangible goods are going to be your way to go. So if you got all your bills paid, you got your house paid. Okay. Congratulations, first off, on that one. Wonderful. If you're 100% debt free, thank you. You are way ahead of the game with everybody else. So now make sure you've got everything that you can possibly put together. Do you have all the food you need, all the garden supplies, all the weaponry, all the ammunition, any sort of tools, whatever you're going to be? So once you've got all those, okay, so there's other things that you need to go after. Prudence in cash in your house, somewhere between dollar bills, 20s, no bigger bills than 20s. Enough cash in your house to pay all your bills for at least 6 months. Okay. If you're worried about keeping that much cash in the house, go get yourself a fireproof, waterproof safe. You can get one for $150 or something like that. They're not that expensive. You don't need a huge one. Okay. 1 foot by 1 foot is going to be plenty to hold a lot. Precious metals. Okay. Silver, gold, whatever it would be. Okay. Those will hold their value, if not increase in value, as currencies collapse. Okay. So that, as I've said many times, you're not buying gold and silver. Gold and silver is not Bitcoin. All right. Gold's not going to go from $1,800 an ounce to $6,000 an ounce or something like that. That's just not going to happen. Okay. It's something to asset preservation, as it's called. Okay. To hold your money. Okay. You're not trying to get rich off of it. You're trying not to get poor. So that would be what I'd look at. In a pinch, buy more land. Okay. They're not making any more of it. If you have the opportunity, somebody here asked me a few weeks ago that they had the opportunity to buy the adjoining 15 acres to their property. And they said they could do it, but they'd have to sell all their gold and silver to do it. What would be my suggestion? And my answer was very simple. Buy the land. Here's why. Okay. Sell the gold and silver, buy the land. The land is for sale now and you can get it. Somebody else buys it, it's not for sale. There's not one piece of gold out there. You can now start rebuilding the gold and silver, but you already own the land. Okay. So tangible assets is what I'm saying. Something that has got value to it. Land is going to have value, appreciating assets. Precious metals, land. You guys know my thoughts on Bitcoin. Okay. Stay away from that. But precious metals, land, or any other sort of tangible asset that's not collectibles. I'm not saying go out and buy Picassos. That's not a good idea. Okay. But, weapons will hold their value. Food obviously is something good. Things like that. Not more vehicles. Vehicles are a depreciating asset. Dottie A says we can't do another 3 years with him. No kidding. Unfortunately, unless he dies, we really don't have an option. Let's see. Lori Kurz, I like the downtime, no weeding, mowing, weed whacking. It's funny. I was just telling Mrs. P. I said, if things keep going the way they're going, I'm actually looking forward to the spring because if I'm not working, that means I have more time to work in the garden. So it's like, okay, I won't have to worry about weeds because it's not like, oh my God, when am I going to go pull weeds? It's like, I got all freaking day. So yes, I'm still not doing anything. So, Veronica Walker, I just noticed this one says Costco has the Jumpstart packs also about $69. The only thing I'll say, guys, is before you buy them, these things again, okay, go check the reviews on them. There's some really good ones. I mean, I spent a couple hours when I couldn't find the other one I had, a couple hours reading reviews before I found this one because there's some of them out there that are just complete crap. Let's see. Pippi Lie Stockings. There you go. There's another good one. Let's see. Redneck Prepper, I need a heated shop. Tell me about it. Mrs. P and I want to build a garage, and I want to get a 2.5 car garage. So I have a half car garage there to put a little shop in. Okay, hey, you get the tools out of the house. I mean, guys, you got to understand when you live in a cabin, there are not a lot of closets. Okay, so all my tools are in our water heater electrical room, which is about 6x6. So it's like, they're just stacked on top of each other. It's like when we finally got a shed, which came in just before Christmas. It's like, oh my God, to finally get some of this stuff outside, out of the house, because there's no storage in cabins, guys. Healthy disrespect for authority. How do you hook that jump starter to your car? Hang on a second, they'll show you. No, actually, I won't because I just realized the battery's out in the car. It's just the case is over here. Okay, but what it is, I mean, it's a square battery like I showed you this morning. There's a plug in there that's got 2 jumper cable heads to it. And you plug that in there and put the red on the red, positive, negative, and put it up there, hit start, turn it on, you're all there. So there's, your 2 alligator clamps are I guess alligator clamps would be the way to put them. To connect to the battery. Real simple. Gareth Singleton, any idea about the supposed moat or erecting concrete security wall going up? I have not seen or heard anything else. I still do not believe the lies for 1 second that, oh, this is fountain repair. Okay. Like I said before, I'm sorry, unless that's highly classified water that's in there. No. Okay. There's something else going on. And I just, it's a non-story. Nobody's really looking into it because, oh, gee, you know what? They're putting up another fence around the White House. There's something going on there. We'll find out eventually. Just mark my words. It's like the same. It's like the hemorrhagic fever in China. Nobody talks about it. And then all of a sudden, a couple of weeks from now, it'll come out and go, oh, gee, there's this going on. And you're going to be like, no shit, I knew this, but Roy Hart, I live in town. I have a separate spot for a bigger garden. If I get stuck in town for a while, what should I grow in a 10 by 10 spot? Not trying to feed crackheads or get vandalized right by the sidewalk. Okay. The first thing I'm going to say is do not do the standard growing in rows. Okay. This is going to be hide in plain sight type stuff. SH, thank you for the super chat. I would plant potatoes, beets, maybe carrots, anything like root crops, and I would intersperse them. Okay. a potato, maybe at a 45 degree, a potato, maybe right in front of it, a beet, maybe carrots next to it, turnips, whatever it would be. Okay. Those are all going to be very good food that nobody's going to see as food. You know, you look at, like you said, you don't want to be feeding crackheads. Shelty Family Homestead, thank you. I will get to the question in just a second. They're not going to know there are potatoes underneath there, or turnips underneath there, or carrots, or beets, or whatever. It's going to look like just an overgrown lot. You know what potatoes look like. You know what carrots look like. But if you put just some stuff like that in there, growing different heights and everything, it's just going to look like weeds, and they're going to walk right past it. And then you go out at one time and go pluck, 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 out of here. The next day, it's like, oh, all the weeds are gone. No, it's like, 100 pounds of vegetables is gone. If I was in a situation like that, that's what I would do. I'd hide in plain sight and I'd plant root crops. So, again, potatoes, sweet potatoes, turnips, carrots, radishes, anything, beets, anything like that. There's plenty, and they're all going to look a little different. And if you kind of mix them all together, it'll just look like a weed patch. Schulte Family Homestead, what are my thoughts on millennials and the more recent generations in SHTF? I am a millennial, but I'm also a carpenter and know my way around a car, so I'm good. Okay. I'm guessing you're relatively new to the channel because I don't have the highest opinion of your generation. Let's put it this way. Better than liberals, but thank God there are a few of you in your generation that actually do give me some hope for the future of this country. The millennials are going to be toast, okay? Again, this goes back to what you've heard and what all of us, me, Generation X, the boomers, whatever it would have said, lazy, entitled brats, participation trophies, everything like this. You know exactly what I'm talking about with a lot of the people in your generation like that. I was telling the story the other night, I think it was on Saturday's live stream, about Mr. and Mrs. Mountaintop Prepper going to the Biltmore house, and all the millennials there dressed in the tees just to get selfies in a mansion. Didn't want to know anything about the history. They just wanted to get selfies and pretend they were rich for a couple hours. Okay. That's the thing. You're saying you're a carpenter. You know your way around a car. You have skills, okay, that are going to be extremely valuable in an SHTF situation. How many people do you know, kids you went to school with or whatever it would be, that have skills like that? Playing Call of Duty is not a skill. Ordering from Starbucks with a whatever, recipe this long is not a skill. Okay. But that's what most of the generation does. Okay. Taking selfies and posting on Instagram is not a skill. Feeding yourself, fixing things, knowing how to, that's what's going to keep you alive. So yeah, my thought on millennials, we're going to have millennials and Gen Z. We're going to have a very small, teeny tiny little generation to keep the population going on, because as the boomers die off, as my generation dies off, most of the millennials are going to have died off. It's going to be you and the few people that are like you that are going to be the future of humanity. Yeah, there you go. You wanted my thought. There it is. Jules, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Let's see. Cody B, any economic news? I kind of talked about that at the top, and then I also did the video on it around lunchtime, so that's all covered there. Lori Irons, don't waste your veggies pelting the president of France. Yeah, no kidding. Throw rocks instead. That would be better. Jen Boyles, CDC says to cancel all sports, etc., for the kids until all our, yeah. I saw something like that yesterday, that they wanted to cancel football or whatever it is. I want to see how well that one goes over in the Southeast and in Texas. I mean, high school football is a religion down in Texas, guys. They'll cancel school before they cancel football. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. Never, yeah, that'll never happen. I mean, but then again, why wouldn't the liberals do that? A bunch of soy boys and pansy boys, don't play football anyway. They're afraid of breaking a nail. Kim, what made me become a prepper? Honestly, Obama getting elected and me getting divorced basically at the same time. That was the beginning to it. Okay. I lost a lot, and you lose half of everything in your divorce, okay, which basically kills both sides. And then I knew what was going on with Obama, and then we went into 2008. I wound up losing my job at the same time, and I'm like, okay, I went from comfortable owning a house to literally, guys, I wound up in a studio apartment that was probably built in the 70s that was a kitchen and a small living room and a bathroom, and that was it. Okay. And I'm like, I'm getting out of this, whatever the hell it takes me, and I'm never getting into a situation like this again. And that was the beginning of it. And, as you all know, it's not like you wake up one morning and you go, gee, you know what? I think I'll go out and buy $1,000 worth of this today. Prepping takes a while to get what you're trying to accumulate. Okay. You don't do it overnight or even in a couple of months. It takes time. So, and of course I've had my ebbs and flows along through. Then of course I met Mrs. P, and Mrs. P was all right into it. And between the two of us, we make one hell of a team, and, to the moon. Where are we going next? Okay, you guys are all talking about different shoes. I see Red Wing, LL Bean. Teresa Ellis. Mainstream proclaimed today that keeping kids home from school hurts the mental health. Big study. They're 2 years behind. Yeah. I mean, and again, this shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody. All right. One of the biggest things that you learn in school is social skills. Now, since the advent of the internet, going back to the millennial question here, social skills have gone in the freaking toilets because, and I've said this many times, how many of you guys have teenagers who are, both of them are sitting on the couch, and rather than talk to each other, they're doing this and they're texting back and forth to each other. Okay. Social skills are gone. Now take the kids out of a social setting and they have no social skills whatsoever. Nearly 20 years, I've been recruiting people for jobs. Interview skills are important. You need to know how to talk to somebody, how to answer questions. I'm not interviewing somebody for a job and letting them do this with their answer. It doesn't work that way. Okay? They need to be able to talk. And so I completely agree with, God, strike me down with lightning. Okay. I agree with the mainstream media saying that keeping kids home from school hurts their mental health. 100%. I agree with that. Okay. Little House on the Prairie homestead. I've been worried about Marburgs back in late November. Yeah. We'll see what happens. But I mean, you get whatever kind of hemorrhagic fever we get out of China is, whatever. But again, China's not forthcoming about any of this. I mean, the latest thing they're trying to do now, if you saw it today, China's trying to blame Omicron on Canada, saying that it was all started because, I guess COVID in general was from a letter that was sent from Canada to China, and that was how it started in China. Okay. I mean, their excuses get stupider and stupider and stupider, and, at least from the Chinese people that I know, the people aren't stupid, but if they're believing this, it's like, you gotta be kidding me. Fingirl ECG says coconut oil is great for beard oil. My beard's naturally soft, so. South Colorado Stetter, did I hear Bill Gates has now gotten the nuclear plant business in Wyoming? Yeah. Okay. He's another one, Bill, just die already. Please. The world will be a better place without you. Let's see. Whoops, there we go. Shot to the bottom. Up here we go. Lake Ferry, thank you. Edible I'm glad you said pansies. God. I had to look at that for a second. I'm like, please tell me she didn't say what I thought she did. Okay. Bloop. Will my seeds that are more than 1 year old still bloom? Newbie to this. Okay. So we've gone over this a few times, but you're a newbie, so we'll go again. Seeds are good for more than 1 year. You may not get as good of germination, but there's plenty of stories about people who have planted seeds that are 5 years old, 10 years old. There was a story sometime last summer about they planted a seed that was like 100 years old and it grew. Okay. If you've got the seeds, the easiest way to tell if they are good, get a wet paper towel. Okay. Damp paper towel, paper towel, wring it out, make it nice and flat, fold it over or whatever it is. Spread your seeds, depending on what kind of seeds they are. Don't spread 1,000 of them or whatever. If you're talking radish seeds, or let's say they're cucumber seeds or bean seeds, a little bigger. Put 10 or 15 out there on there. Put it in a sandwich bag. Stick it in the fridge for a couple of days. Wait and see what happens. Look on the back packet and see how long, back of the seed packet, and see how long it takes for them to normally germinate. If they're seeds you saved, look it up online and see how long it takes to germinate. When you see the little root start poking out of the seed, those are viable seeds. Plant those in your cup. If it's been in there for whatever time and there's nothing, then that one is no good. So you can just get rid of that. You can also do the other trick of putting them in a glass of water. The ones that float are no good. The ones that sink are still good. That's another way. It's not as accurate as the first way, but both of those ways will tell you if you still got viable seeds. Scarlet Brimstone, I identify as Gen X, raised by boomer parents. You and me both. Huts John, was that 10-10-10 for $95 real today? Yeah, it was a picture that was sent to me by one of y'all that I do know well, so I don't think they're trying to BS me. But the funny part was all the comments, if you guys read through there, a lot of places saying, people saying, oh, I can get 10-10-10 for $15. Somebody else says, oh, 10-10-10 by me is 25. There were a couple of people that said their 10-10-10 was 50. There was somebody that said it was $70 and some odd cents. And the reason I'm putting these together is the $95 one was supposedly somewhere around Pittsburgh. The $75 one was somewhere in northern Kentucky, nearby. Okay. So, again, I'm taking this person's word for it. Could it have been a mistake? Possibly. But by the comments that I got from you guys, I have a tendency to think that might have been real. So, Kentucky Believer, any updates on the Wally World money? No, I didn't hear anything about it today. Okie Forge, I think every generation worries about the next generation, except mine. Generation X was the forgotten generation. Remember, nobody cared about us. We were just kind of left out on our own to figure it all out for ourselves, which is probably why the majority of us came out pretty good. Mayhem Country Living. There you go. Hello, everyone from Mayhem Country. Okay, that'll do it. Jesus Christ, it's 5 to 9 already. J Mac, if crypto is the answer, why do they sell it for cash? Exactly. Why do they want the cash? I mean, that's, very astute question there. They're making money on you. That's all it is. I'm telling you, and there's going to be a ton of haters that are going to disagree with me, but crypto is the next Cabbage Patch Kid. It's the next pet rock. Okay. It'll be around for a few years until it goes poof. It's like these NFTs, non-fungible tokens. There was an article, I talked a little bit about this with the Walmart money, but there was an article where people were buying rocks. Okay. Now, mind you, this is a picture of a drawn picture of a rock for their metaverse property, or whatever, paying anywhere up to $40,000 in real money for a GIF of a rock that you could go on the computer and type rock GIF and find the exact same thing. But somebody was selling it to you for $40,000. Zuckerberg comes out today. There's stories that came out on documents that they got on him that it's a moneymaker for him. That's what Meta is. It's a money grab. And there's stupid people who are going, cool, I can get virtual toothpaste. Get some virtual toilet paper to wipe your virtual ass, you know. It's just idiotic. You know, like I said the other day, you have a bedroom that looks like the Lincoln bedroom in the White House, but, you know, you're sleeping on a mattress that's covered with bed bugs. You know, buy the real thing. Steve Smith, how deep of a container do I need to grow carrots? Depending on the kind of carrot, but carrots are a little difficult to germinate and grow. You want a pot that's probably about 12 inches deep of good soil. Okay, where a lot of plants, you know, vegetables notoriously are shallow rooted plants. You know, and you'll hear a lot, you can get away with 4 inches of soil or 6 inches of good soil. Carrot's a root vegetable that's, you know what a carrot looks like, okay? Carrot's a foot long. So you need to have good, rich soil all the way to the bottom, preferably compost or something like that. Once you get to the clay, forget it. The carrot stops. It's not going any further. Now, when you're growing carrots, germination is the hardest part of them. You're not going to transplant carrots. Don't try to put carrots in a seed pod and then transplant them. That does not work. You got to direct sow your carrots. Put them in your soil. Get your soil good and wet. Cover it right on the soil with a board, with a piece of cardboard, something, okay? So all those seeds are covered, and you need a week to 10 days of it to be covered. You have to keep constant moisture on carrot seeds, otherwise they will not germinate. So cover it with something. That's the hardest part everybody has, is getting carrots to germinate. But yeah, you need a foot deep of soft, crumbly, fluffy, preferably compost soil. Greg Cooley. Okay, I forgot about this. Thoughts on 5G effects on aviation, its connection to COVID and the jab. Okay, I'll talk about the first half because I'm not even going to discuss the second, because that'll get me in a world of trouble. But yeah, 5G is supposed to be rolled out tomorrow, guys. And if you noticed, every airline is screaming, going, this is going to have a problem with air travel. The airline signed something that said up to 100,000 people could be stuck because they can't fly. You're going to have supply chain problems. So going to be interesting to see what happens tomorrow when they supposedly are going to roll out 5G. Now, I've heard the other side of the story too. China, Europe have had 5G for a while now. They have no problems. Okay. I'm not a radio engineer or whatever it is. So the bands I know are similar, but not the same. So we'll see what happens. It could be crazy. It could be a big nothing burger. Margie Stokes says some schools in Texas announced today they're closing for going virtual the next 2 weeks. That's surprising. You know, thought Abbott was a little smarter than doing something stupid like that. Let's see. Looking. Something Lore Olympus. What do you drive? What do you? Okay, I'm not sure. What do you drive between Alaska and the lower 48? Can you drive that route by car? Yeah, there's highway that goes from Alaska all the way down to Washington State. There's no problem there. Whether or not you can do it because of the COVID restrictions is another point. But yes, but you've got to have a passport, everything like that to go across. It's not like it used to be where as long as you had a license, you could drive. Okay, let's see. We've got 1 minute. And of course, we shot to the bottom, so I'm going to try to find something quickly. A couple of comments about Pet Rock, a lot of comments about Pet Rocks. Grafted Bridge Homestead, do I like Tadler lids? I prefer to buy ball lids every time. So I just stick with those. Yeah, Paul, and getting carrots to germinate and grow before the weeds. Yeah, well, the board helps with that. So let's see. I'm trying to find one more to. Scarlet Brimstone. There's a good one. Anyone remember how to use a rotary phone? You know how bad that is? Even on my cell phone, I still dial the area code first, even though I don't even need to. Silly as it, old habits are hard to break. I still put 2 spaces after a period when I'm typing. Okay, it's just what I know. So yeah, I know people look at me and go, "Why?" Like, old habits are hard to break. So, all right, it's 9:01. I think Jason's on tonight, so I don't want to step on his toes like I did last week. Thank you all for coming tonight. Have a great evening. We'll see you in the morning. Pinball out.